Good morning, District 89. My name is Miss M. I am the art teacher at Stevenson Middle School. Today I'm going to show you a lesson on how to create the illusion of space in a landscape. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so for the first part of the lesson, you don't need to really write anything. I just like you to watch as I show you 3 different techniques to create the illusion of space. Otherwise, if you want to, you can also try this on a separate sheet of paper and follow along. We are going to use a different paper for our landscape. So the first technique I want to show you is called overlapping, and that is simply when we just draw one object in front of the other. So I'm going to use circles for this just so that we can move through this a little bit quicker. So for example, for overlapping, you might start with a circle in the front. And then to create the illusion of space, we're just going to add a second circle that's partially cut off by the front circle to give the illusion of space. So that is called overlapping. Size relationship is simply creating 2 similar objects in different sizes to create the illusion of space. So for example, we might draw a large circle, and then we might draw a smaller circle, and that will give the illusion of space. The last technique that I'd like to show you is called placement, and these 2 kind of go hand in hand. So the idea with placement is that you're going to place things towards the bottom of the page that are larger to give the illusion of space, and then you're going to place things that are smaller towards the back of the page or towards the top of the page to create the illusion of space. So for example, we might create a circle just coming right off the page because it's so big, and notice it's at the bottom of the page. Then we might create a smaller circle towards the top of the page to again give that illusion of space. And again, we're also making it smaller. So we kind of used size relationship and placement all in the same section. All right, so now that you understand what overlapping is, what size relationship is, and what placement is, now we're going to go ahead and get into our landscape and use these techniques to create the illusion of space. All right guys, so for this lesson, you're going to need some sort of a straight edge. If you don't have a ruler, you could just take like a second piece of paper or anything, like a book that has a hard side edge to make straight lines. You're also going to need a pencil and then an eraser. When you're drawing in perspective and creating the illusion of space, there's a lot of erasing. So what we're going to start with is I'm going to start with something called a horizon line. And I like to put that kind of more towards the top of my paper, but it doesn't really matter. You could put it in the middle. You could put it towards the top. The horizon line separates the sky from the ground. So whenever you're drawing a landscape, that's always kind of the first thing I do, because I always want to make sure that I show a little bit of sky in my landscape. And then using placement, we're going to start at the bottom and kind of work our way up. Now remember, things at the bottom are larger to give the illusion of space, and as you create those objects closer to the horizon line, they're going to get smaller and smaller. So I'm going to do kind of a poppy flower in the front, and I'm going to make it so big that it's kind of coming off the page. Now if you don't know what a poppy looks like, they're really bright and colorful, and I'm just going to do everything with pencil first. So I'm not going to put a lot of details in because I'm going to add color later. So I just kind of want to get the lines in there right now, and you could follow along if you'd like. And then, so that's kind of what a poppy flower looks like. And then around the edges of a poppy, you usually have some sort of leaves. And once we color this in, you're gonna see they're gonna look really pretty too. So this poppy is so big because we wanna make sure that we're creating the illusion of space. As I go back, I might do maybe one more poppy coming out of the side here. So I'm just going to kind of make a little stem. And I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller because now I'm getting towards the middle of the page. So again, and this one's going to be closed. So we're going to make an open poppy and a closed poppy. All right, so now I have this big giant poppy in the front of my page. Now I'm going to make it a little bit simpler by just creating layers of land. And my layers of land, I'm not going to use my ruler because I want them to be kind of like hills. So I'm just going to make a layer of land going this way on an angle. I'm going to make a layer of land going maybe this way on an angle. And then I have my horizon line, which I might soften up and just kind of make a little bit wavier to get the illusion that it's more natural looking, okay? So now I have my giant poppy, my layers of land, and now I could start adding in more details that you might see in a landscape. I might put some houses in here. So again, just keep in mind, let's say that there's a house here and then there's a house back here. This house is going to be a lot bigger. So I might make this about this size. Right. And again, you can pause the video as much as you need to get the drawing part in, because I know that's not easy for everybody. So just do the best you can and take your time and pause the video. So notice that my house went a little bit into that line, so I'm just going to erase that line. This is now how we're using overlapping to create the illusion of space. And I might just give my house some windows, right? And then I might draw a second house back here. But again, this house is going to be a lot smaller now. So now I'm going to just kind of make my house smaller to give the illusion of space. And maybe this house is facing the other way. Now, if you don't want to draw a house, we could really draw any objects that you would see in a landscape. So it doesn't really matter what you're drawing. It's just following those techniques of overlapping and size relationship. All right, so now to add in a little bit more of overlapping, I might put like a really nice tree that's partially covered. Let's see, we'll do that over here by my house. So it's gonna look like it's behind my house. So I might just kind of start by drawing part of the tree and then letting the house cover the rest of it. And then if I were to draw another tree back here, I might make that one a lot smaller. Okay. And then if I wanted to, I could keep going and adding in more and more things. I might add in a fence. So if I were to add in a fence back here, it'd be pretty small because it's far back. All right, so I'm just adding these little rectangles in to create a little fence right here. And then maybe I'll make that fence go all the way to the edge of the paper. And this is where you can start adding in your own details and kind of getting creative. You can also, if you have access to the internet, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video that you do, you can look up how to draw images. I'm going to put a little line through my fence to make it look more like a fence. So I'm just connecting all of my little fence spikes. Okay, so that's looking really cute. You can also go ahead and add in some animals if you'd like. I'm gonna keep my landscape pretty simple. I might add in some clouds up here. Even with the clouds, there could be some that are smaller and some that are really large to give that more illusion of space. And then I really want to kind of build up my poppies because I think that's going to be the main focus of my artwork. And then I might add in just a few more trees in the background. So I'm going to go a little bit faster now, and then I will show you how to add color. And for the color part, I'm just going to use colored pencils, but again, you can use whatever you'd like to use to finish this off. So now that I've finished all of my drawing details, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring with my colored pencils. As I said, poppies are really bright and colorful. So I'm going to start with this like really nice reddish orange color. Red orange, as you might remember from 6th grade, is a tertiary color. The trick is when you are using colored pencils, you want to kind of blend the colors together as you go. So I might start with just this as a foundation, but I might go in and add in some oranges in here in certain areas. I think I need a little bit darker of an orange. So you're going to kind of play with the colors and layer them on top of each other, and that's going to make them look, again, more three-dimensional. So I kind of am going to go back and forth between my orange and my red orange, and I might even do some lighter colors in there with this yellow orange to kind of give it even more depth. So you want to play around with your colors a little bit and see what you can create. I'm going to kind of put the video on fast forward now so you could see me as I work, and then just do a little bit of your own experimenting with blending colors to finish up your artwork. Now, if you don't have colored pencils, again, just use whatever you have at home. You could even keep it in black and white and then just add some shading with pencil. So we are all finished with our landscape. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Also, please don't forget to keep up with your e-learning days so that we can keep our brains healthy just as much as we keep our bodies healthy. We'll see you next time. Thanks.